Segnale di precedenza. Segnale di precedenza is part of what we call segnali di prescrizione, prescription signs. In this lesson, we're going to look at the various signs that fall under segnali di precedenza. When we say segnali di precedenza, we're referring to those signs that tell you who should go first or who should go last, for example, at a junction. Okay, they are basically priority signs. So when you see them, they usually point to who has the right of way, right of passage, priority at that junction or intersection on the road. The first segnale di precedenza we're looking at is this one called dare precedenza. Dare precedenza. So we're going to look at some of the statements, the true and false statements that might appear in your exam if they choose to ask you a question on this particular sign. Il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di precedenza. The sign in the picture is a giveaway sign or precedence sign. Il segnale raffigurato obbliga a dare precedenza ai veicoli provenienti sia da destra che da sinistra. The sign in the picture obligates you to give way to vehicles that are coming both from the left and from the right. Okay? Both sides of the road. Il segnale raffigurato comporta di dare la precedenza ai veicoli che circolano sulla strada che si incrocia. So, when you see this sign, it means that you have to allow the vehicles coming from the road that meets your own road. You have to allow them to pass first. Okay? So basically talking about the same point we mentioned earlier. If you are on a road and that road meets another road at a junction, you should wait for the cars on that road to pass first before your own. Okay, so in that case, the road that meets your own road is la strada che si incrocia, the road that you are meeting. Il segnale raffigurato viene posto su strada secondaria che non ha il diritto di precedenza. So what this statement means is that this sign is placed on a road. Here it is described as strada secondaria. A secondary road refers to a road of lesser importance. Okay, lesser importance. So a road that has less priority. Okay, so if we have a road that has less priority, it means that there is another road that has a higher priority. So this strada secondaria, secondary road that has less priority, does not have the right of way. If you're coming from that strada secondaria, non hai il diritto di precedenza. You don't have the right of passage. You have to allow the other vehicles coming from the major road to go first before you. Il segnale raffigurato si trova sulle corsie di accelerazione per l'immissione in autostrada. If you go to the video that we used in discussing strada, you would notice that we talked about corsia di accelerazione. Please, if you don't remember what is corsia di accelerazione, go and watch that video about strada. So this question is saying that you will find corsia di accelerazione. You will find this sign on the corsia di accelerazione. Okay? And it is true. Il segnale raffigurato su strade extraurbane è preceduto dal segnale preavviso di dare precedenza. Yes. Still on strada extraurbana, if you go to the video of strada, you will see that it is explained there, so I will not go into explaining it all over again. So do yourself a favor and watch the video about strada. Now, on strada extraurbana, when you see this sign, it is possible that you see another sign called preavviso di dare precedenza. Why is it called preavviso? Because it comes before this one. Preavviso means that it is an advance indication, an advance warning, okay? That preavviso comes before you see this one. So this one is found at the junction. The preavviso is found before you get to this point. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia di moderare particolarmente la velocità e all'occorrenza fermarsi. So, with this sign, you are expected to proceed at a moderate speed and, if necessary, stop. Il segnale raffigurato, in presenza del segnale raffigurato, non occorre fermarsi all'incrocio se rallentando si ha modo di vedere che non vi sono veicoli in arrivo sia da destra che da sinistra. So if you are approaching the junction, okay, if you are approaching the junction, it is not necessary to stop. Okay, it is not necessary to stop if you are able to see that there is no car coming both from the right hand side and from the left hand side. If you are able to see, se si ha modo di vedere, okay, if you are able to see that no car is coming, non vi sono veicoli in arrivo, sia da destra che da sinistra, in that case non occorre fermarsi all'incrocio. It is not necessary. It is not required that you stop at the junction. In that case, in that specific case. This sign, like I mentioned before we started the explanations, is part of segnale di prescrizione. Yes, I said that the topic we're discussing is precedenza. But if you remember what I said in the beginning, I said that precedenza signs are classified under the family of prescrizione. Obbliga a dare precedenza ai veicoli che circolano sulla strada su cui ci si mette. So if you want to enter the road, that is la strada in cui ci si mette. That's the road you want to enter, okay? You have to allow the cars on that road already to cross before you enter, okay? There should not be any car coming when you are entering the road. Allow them to cross first. Se abbinato ad un semaforo, vale quando il semaforo funziona a luce gialla lampeggiante. So, with regards to the hierarchy of road signs, let me say this. with regards to the hierarchy of road signs, which in Segnale di Precedenza, we're going to meet this discussion over and over again. The highest authority on the road for road signs, okay, is the agente di traffico, the traffic warden or the policeman, okay, vigile. The second highest authority is the traffic light, okay, and then followed by the standing sign, segnale verticale, like this. So, if you see a flashing yellow light going off and on, then this sign is valid. Okay? If the traffic light is not there, follow this sign. If the traffic light is completely off, follow this sign. But if the traffic light is showing you red and you are seeing this sign there, but the traffic light is showing you a red color, okay, example, then you have to follow the traffic lights. Please remember this. Il segnale raffigurato si trova sulle rampe di raccordo per l'emissione in autostrada. So you will find this sign on the access routes, the ramps leading into the autostrada. Impone l'uso della massima prudenza al fine di evitare incidenti. So this sign basically imposes on you to be extremely careful to avoid road accidents. Let's look at the next sign. Here we're going to talk about preavviso di precedenza. If you remember, we already referenced it in the other sign. This is preavviso di precedenza. So you will see this sign in some cases before you see the sign of dare precedenza. So basically, preavviso di dare precedenza, something like that. Il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di prescrizione. Yes, we already mentioned that before. Il segnale raffigurato è un preavviso di dare precedenza, sia a destra che a sinistra. Yes, because dare precedenza sign tells you that you don't have the right of way at all. So you need to allow people on that road you want to meet, you want to enter, to cross. Quindi, this sign is a sign of preavviso, warning you early to allow cars on the left and on the right to cross at that junction before you enter. Remember that in the case of preavviso, you have this small white panel on top, and they usually tell you the distance between this preavviso sign and the actual sign at the junction. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia la successiva presenza di un segnale di dare precedenza. Yes. So, like we've been saying, when you see this sign, it means that in a few meters time, like 320 meters or whatever, depending on what they write for you, you will see the actual sign of dare precedenza. So, as it says here, indica la distanza dall'incrocio in cui dobbiamo dare precedenza. So it indicates to you also the distance from the junction where you have to give precedenza. In this particular case, it is 320 meters. Preannuncia di rallentare per potersi fermare se ci sono veicoli cui bisogna dare precedenza. So it's already telling you that you need to slow down so that you can be able to stop safely, okay? You don't just stop suddenly. You slow down and stop. So you have to maintain a speed that allows you to stop properly in case there are vehicles that you need to give precedenza. Ok? Se ci sono veicoli cui bisogna dare precedenza. Può preannunciare un incrocio a T. Può preannunciare un incrocio a T in cui bisogna dare la precedenza. It means that it may announce to you or warn you of a junction, a T junction, in which you need to give precedenza, in which you need to give the right of way, that is, allow vehicles there to go first before you. È posto su una strada che non ha diritto di precedenza. It is placed on a road that does not have the right of way, just like the other sign, which is the actual direct precedenza. We mentioned it before. So if you see the sign on the road where you're driving, it means that that road does not have precedenza and you need to wait for cars on the other road to pass first before you. Now let's talk about fermarsi e dare precedenza. This is a sign that is normally called the stop sign, but the full name is fermarsi e dare precedenza, okay? Because it belongs to this family of dare precedenza. This sign obligates you to stop at the junction and allow other cars to pass. Obbliga a fermarsi in corrispondenza della striscia trasversale di arresto e a dare precedenza agli altri veicoli. It also imposes on you to stop, to give way to vehicles that enter the junction before you. Okay? Impone di arrestarsi e dare la precedenza prima di impegnare l'incrocio. So before you enter that junction, you have to stop. You have to stop. There is no situation in which you can just enter that junction without stopping. Even if you don't see any car coming, you get to the junction, because it is written stop, you must stop first before you enter the junction. Ok? Obbliga ad arrestarsi all'incrocio e a dare precedenza a destra e a sinistra. So it obligates you to stop at the junction, like I mentioned, and to allow vehicles to pass, both those coming from the left and those coming from the right. Impone di fermarsi all'incrocio anche in presenza di semaforo a luce gialla lampeggiante. So if the traffic light there is a yellow light going off and on, lampeggiante, blinking off and on, you still need to stop. Impone di fermarsi. Si trova all'incrocio con una strada con diritto di precedenza. It is found in the junction with a road that has diritto di precedenza. So the road where you are, where you're seeing this sign, does not have diritto di precedenza. The one that has diritto di precedenza is the road that you want to enter. The road that your own road is meeting at the junction. Okay, maybe you don't want to enter there, but the road that your own road where you're coming from meets at the junction, that particular road is the one that has diritto di precedenza. So you are the one that should stop. Si trova in genere negli incroci con scarsa visibilità. So usually they like to place this sign at the junction that has scarsa visibilità, low visibility. Okay? Fuori dei centri abitati è preceduto dal relativo segnale di preavviso. So outside of the centro abitato, the sign you will see before this one is the preavviso di stop. Preavviso di fermarsi e dare precedenza. Later on, we'll see what it looks like. This sign is used normally at the junction that has some peculiar risks. Okay? È utilizzato di norma negli incroci di particolare pericolosità. So there are some dangers, risks associated with that junction. So they put the stop sign. Può trovarsi all'incrocio, può trovarsi in corrispondenza di un passaggio a livello. You might find this sign near passaggio a livello, just beside it. Okay, that's what it's saying here. You can find it there at passaggio a livello. Now let's look at the preavviso di stop. Preavviso di stop. This preavviso di stop, look at it here. It is quite similar to the preavviso di dare precedenza, but there is a difference. Okay, look at it here. Preavviso di stop. Okay, now look at the other one. Preavviso di dare precedenza. Okay, the only difference here is that in this case it is written stop. In the other case it is not written stop. Okay, I hope you can see it. Bene. So let's see what questions they will ask in case they choose to ask you a question from here. È un segnale di preavviso di fermarsi e dare precedenza. Yes. Preavviso di fermarsi e dare precedenza. Yes. So it's a sign warning you to stop and allow other vehicles to pass. Preannuncia un segnale di stop a 320 metri. It is warning you about a stop sign at 320 meters ahead. Yes, exactly. Preannuncia di arrestarsi al prossimo incrocio e dare la precedenza a destra e a sinistra. Yes. So you need to stop at the next junction and allow vehicles coming from the left and the right hand side to pass. Preannuncia di fermarsi 320 metri dopo il segnale e dare precedenza. Yes. You need to stop 320 meters after this particular sign and allow other vehicles on the junction to pass before you. Invita a rallentare perché è prossimo un incrocio in cui bisogna fermarsi e dare precedenza. Yes. It invites you to slow down because next there is a junction where you need to stop and allow vehicles to pass. It is a prescription sign, è un segnale di prescrizione. Let's look at the next sign. This is incrocio con precedenza a destra. Now, we have seen that in the case of direct precedenza and also the stop sign, you need to give precedenza to both right and left. But in this particular sign, they are telling you that the general rule is to dare precedenza a destra. So if somebody is coming from your left-hand side, he should wait for you because you are at his right-hand side. Only those from your right-hand side you should allow to continue their journey. Okay? So that is the order of movement. You allow the person on your right-hand side to go first. Those on your left allow you to go. And in that way, there is a uniform order on the road. Preannuncia un incrocio in cui vale la regola generale di dare la precedenza a destra. So it is telling you ahead of time that there is a general rule you should obey, which is dare precedenza a destra. Just destra, not left and right. Please notice that the shape of this segnale di precedenza has changed. Before we had the triangle that was upside down. Now this triangle looks exactly like pericolo. I hope you're noticing it because it's very important for us to be observant, to notice. Okay? Dare precedenza a destra. Also notice that you cannot confuse it with pericolo because the signs you will see inside this triangle that looks like pericolo sign is like proper shape of the road, proper shape of the junction, not road, the junction, because that is what is showing you, the junction. In the case of pericolo, they will show you picture of little children playing or picture of a bad road, the gallops, picture of cuneta, picture of stones falling down from the mountain or stones pumping up from the ground because the road is not really nice. Okay, in the case of precedenza, the only picture they will show you is the junction because that is what we are interested in. So do not confuse them. The reason they have put this precedenza sign like this, like a pericolo, is because it bears some characteristics of pericolo. Remember, I said that pericolo, they put it 150 meters ahead so that you see it on time and make adjustments. In the case of prescrizione, I said that generally, you find it at the spot where it is active. Okay, where the action is happening. Okay, and that's what we have seen up till now for precedenza. But here it changes. Here it changes because this one is telling you that at the junction that you will see in front of you, where you will now see other cars coming, at the junction. You need to direct precedenza to the right. Basta. So this sign is not placed at that spot. It is placed a bit before so that you keep it in mind and make adjustments before you get there. Ok? Quindi preannuncia un incrocio. It tells you ahead of time about a junction in which the general rule is dare precedenza a destra. It prescribes that you proceed with a speed that is moderate, okay? Particolarmente moderata, particularly moderate. Preannuncia un incrocio in cui si deve dare precedenza a destra. Like we said before, a junction where you have to give precedenza to the right. It is a segnale di precedenza. Yes, that one we know it very well. Non si trova sul tratto di strada con diritto di precedenza. If you see this sign on the road where you are, it means that that particular road where you are does not have precedenza. Because you have to give precedenza to the right. Quindi, si trova su strada, non si trova. You don't find it on the road that has precedenza. Okay, you find it only on roads that don't have precedenza. That's why they tell you dare precedenza a destra. Now, if you look at all these other signs that look like a triangle, okay, all these other signs that look like a triangle, they bear the same characteristics like pericolo, which basically informs you about something 150 meters ahead of time. So let's look at this one. We'll come back to the other signs later. Okay, incrocio con diritto di precedenza. Incrocio con diritto di precedenza. So if you see this sign, it means that you have the right of way because you are in the middle section of this road, the bold, wide path. So you don't need to worry. The only thing is that you need to pay attention because there are cars that could be coming from the other smaller roads, but you have the right of way. So let's see some questions they will ask you. Preannuncia un incrocio con strade di minore importanza. Yes, it is telling you about a junction with smaller roads, that is, roads that have lesser importance. It doesn't necessarily have to be smaller in size, but smaller in importance. Okay, so if you see yourself on a road like this, you continue going because you have the right of way. Preannuncia un incrocio in cui si ha la precedenza sui veicoli provenienti dalle strade secondarie. So, if you see this sign, it means that you have the right of way with respect to those other cars coming from the smaller roads, okay? Un incrocio in cui si ha la precedenza. You have the right of way with respect to the smaller roads that here are called strade secondarie. Preannuncia un incrocio con una strada senza diritto di precedenza. Okay, so it is telling you that you are going to meet a junction with other roads that don't have the right of way because you are the one that have the right of way. So if you have the right of way, it means that others don't have the right of way. Okay, two people cannot have the right of way at the same time. If they have the right of way, you don't have it. If you have it, they don't have it. All'incrocio ci dà la precedenza sui veicoli provenienti sia da destra che da sinistra. So if you get to that junction, that small junction where other roads are coming in, you have the right of way, whether they are coming from the left or from the right. You are the one that should go first. They should wait for you. Perde la sua efficacia in presenza di agente che regola il traffico. So when you meet a policeman at that junction, this sign doesn't matter anymore. You just do what the policeman tells you to do, or the vigile. So it loses its efficacy. It becomes basically invalid if there is a policeman standing there telling you what to do. So remember, the policeman or vigile is the highest authority for traffic. So if you meet him, listen to him first, not what the signboard is saying. Può essere preceduto dal segnale diritto di precedenza. Yes, there is a sign called diritto di precedenza that can come before this one on the road. Later on we'll see it. Preannuncia che bisogna rallentare per accertare che ci venga data la precedenza. Yes, you need to slow down a bit just to make sure that those cars coming from that side of the road will allow you to go. Because if they don't allow you and you insist on going, there will be an accident and it's not good. Preannuncia un incrocio in cui sia la precedenza. It announces to you, like we said earlier, a junction where you are the one that should go first. So you don't need to get there and stop. You just keep going because you have the right of way. But bear in mind about other cars coming, because if they just jump into the road and don't allow you to exercise your rights, then there's no need to cause an accident. You can wait for them to go first. Okay, this is just common sense in a bid to avoid accidents. Let's look at the next one. This particular sign is called Strada con diritto di precedenza. Okay, we mentioned it in the statement, so it is nice that we consider it now. Strada con diritto di precedenza. When you see this sign, it means that the road you are on has the right of way. You can continue going. Okay, so with this particular sign, it's not just telling you that you have the right of way, but it's telling you also the beginning of a road that has the right of way. So here it says indica l'inizio, the starting point, the beginning of a road in which the vehicles have the right of way, in cui i veicoli hanno diritto di precedenza. Può essere posto su una strada statale. You can see it on strada statale. Strada statale is a kind of road in Italy that is usually extra urbana secondaria. So it's not the road that you see in the centro abitato. It's outside of the centro abitato, strada statale. In the presence of this sign, you still need to allow those vehicles with siren to pass. So if you're driving on this road and you see a police vehicle that has the siren, wow, 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 allow them to pass, okay? Or ambulance that has the siren on, allow them to pass. So bisogna comunque dare la precedenza ai veicoli che hanno in funzione il lampeggiante blu e sirena. È un segnale di precedenza. Good, we said that before, is a precedenza sign. Like I said before, always make sure that those cars coming from the smaller roads have allowed you to pass before you pass, because if they jump into the road, it could be a problem. Okay? Bisogna comunque assicurarsi che i veicoli provenienti dalle strade laterali, that is the side roads laterali, the lateral roads, diano la precedenza. È un segnale di prescrizione. Yes, it is a prescription sign. It tells you how to do it. Si può trovare all'inizio di una strada urbana o extraurbana che gode del diritto di precedenza. So you might find this sign on strada urbana or extraurbana that has the right of way. Okay? As long as it has the right of way, you may find it there. Può essere ripetuto in formato piccolo. It can be repeated in a smaller format before and after a junction. Può essere ripetuto in formato piccolo e integrato con pannello in figura B. So when it is repeated after a junction, they might also add this white panel in figure B, telling you how the junction on the road is organized. Okay, so you may not have gotten there already, but if you look at the signboard, you know that, okay, there is a road in front that is on my left, and there's a road in front that is also on my right, that are close to each other. Il segnale raffigurato comporta la presenza sulle strade che si incrociano del segnale dare precedenza o stop. So when you see this sign, it means that on the other road that you're going to meet at the junction, they will be seeing signs of direct precedenza or stop. For you, you're seeing this yellow sign. For them, in the other road where you're meeting, they will see direct precedenza or stop. Quindi le strade che si incrociano, the road that you're meeting as you're driving on this road, the road that you're meeting along the way, they have this direct precedenza or stop sign. Not you, because you are seeing the yellow one. If they are seeing the yellow one, you will be seeing direct precedenza or stop that we have. I showed you the picture before. Feel free to rewind this lesson and watch it over and over again. So even if you think I am fast, push the video back, play it again, listen to what I say. Okay, so the speed should not be an issue for you. È comunque necessario moderare la velocità in prossimità degli incroci. It is important to moderate your speed as you're getting close to the junction. Don't say because I have the right of way, I can drive however I want. I can drive how much speed I want. No. Moderate your speed whenever you're coming close to a junction area, because you never can tell what will happen. Okay? In prossimità degli incroci is when you're near the junction. È necessario moderare la velocità is that it is necessary to moderate your speed. What does moderating speed mean? Moderating speed means basically adjusting your speed to a level where you can handle it properly. Okay? Not too fast, not too slow. Let's look at this one. If you can't watch this video in one sitting, feel free to break it into 2 or into 3 as you wish and complete it. Okay, you don't have to watch all of it at once. And when you're watching this video, it will be nice to also have your notebook, or not really notebook, your question sheet based on the sign I'm discussing, and try to do it yourself. Okay, try to do it yourself. So this one is the opposite of the other sign that we just saw. Now you can see that it is still the yellow sign, but it has the black mark on it. The black mark on it. Why? Because that particular road has finished. The area where you have precedenza has finished. Therefore, it invites you to exercise caution, extreme care, because you don't have the right of way anymore. Non si ha più diritto di precedenza. Il conducente, salvo diverso ulteriore segnale, deve dare precedenza ai veicoli provenienti da destra. So here, the classic old rule comes back. You have to give precedenza to the right. È un segnale di precedenza, is a precedenza sign. Indica che la strada non gode più del diritto di precedenza, so this road no longer enjoys that right of way. After this sign, you will see a sign called fermarsi e dare precedenza. Possibly, not in each and every case, but this sign may be followed by the fermarsi e dare precedenza sign. Il segnale raffigurato modifica le precedenti norme sulle precedenza agli incroci. So what this sign does is to modify the norms or rules on precedenza agli incroci, how you allow vehicles to go at the junction, what the order is, who goes first, who goes second, who goes last. So this sign basically modifies the understanding you had before when you saw the one that was without the black line. Okay, whatever you were abiding by when you saw the yellow color without the black line, at this point it has basically expired. You have to go back to basics. Okay. Il segnale raffigurato indica il ripristino della norma generale sulla precedenza. So with this sign you basically go back to the general rules of precedenza, which is dare precedenza a destra. Il segnale raffigurato indica che termina una strada con diritto di precedenza. So basically it means that the road that has the right of way has ended. That's what it is saying. Indica che dopo di esso si dovrà di norma dare la precedenza a destra. So once you see this sign, from then onwards, normally you should give precedenza to the right, to your right hand side. Indica la fine del diritto di precedenza anche sulle strade urbane. So even if you see it on the strada urbana, it means the same thing, that the diritto di precedenza has ended. Okay. Let's continue because we have more signs. Precedenza is a very important sign. It can be tricky sometimes. It can be tricky. So that's why I want you to pay very close attention to what we are discussing. In the case of intersezione AT, this sign, this is just a variation of what we saw before. In the first picture, we saw that the secondary roads were coming out from the left and right. But in this case, the secondary road is only on the right hand side. But you still have the right of way. Okay, you still have the right of way. So what questions would they ask you? Preannuncia che si incrocia a destra una strada di minore importanza. So it is indicating to you that on the right hand side there is a road of lesser importance. Yes. Preannuncia un incrocio con una strada secondaria che si mette da destra. Yes. It is telling you that ahead of you there is a road that is coming into the major road from the right hand side. Bisogna usare prudenza perché ci si sta avvicinando ad un incrocio. You have to be very careful because you're getting close to a junction. Junction in Italian is called incrocio or intersezione. È un segnale di precedenza. Yes, it is a segnale di precedenza. Okay? It is a segnale di precedenza. Preannuncia l'incrocio con una strada senza diritto di precedenza. It warns you about a junction with a road that does not have precedenza. So that road that is trying to come into your own road, does not have precedenza. You are the one that has precedenza. Preannuncia un incrocio in cui il conducente ha la precedenza sui veicoli provenienti da destra. So it warns you about a junction in which the driver has precedenza on vehicles coming in from the right. Okay, the vehicles coming in from the right, this sign is saying, yes, you can come in, but you have to wait for those on the major roads to pass first. Let the road be clear before you enter. Okay, so you are on the major road. As you can see, the road is bold, it's wide, the black area you can go. But on the right hand side, they don't have the right of way. So the conducente, that is you, are the one that have precedenza because you're on the major road. More. Let's talk about this one. Intersezione AT. Da sinistra. Pardon me, I'm yawning. Ok, il segnale raffigurato preannuncia che si incrocia sulla sinistra una strada di minore importanza. This sign is exactly the same sign that we saw before. The only difference here is that the entry road is now on the left hand side. Before we saw it on the right hand side, now we're seeing it on the left hand side. So yes, it is announcing to you that there is a small road of lesser importance that is coming into the major road from the left hand side. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia un incrocio in cui si ha la precedenza. So it is telling you that you have the precedenza on meeting this road. So the road you're meeting is a secondary road coming in from the left hand side, but you are the one that have precedenza. Il segnale raffigurato prescrive di usare prudenza perché ci si sta avvicinando ad un incrocio. So you have to be careful because you're coming closer to a junction. Ci si sta avvicinando ad un incrocio. This is it here. Okay. Next è un segnale di precedenza. Yes, it's a precedenza sign. And then preannuncia un incrocio con una strada senza diritto di precedenza. Yes, that road does not have diritto di precedenza. The road on the left hand side. Okay. It's a normal road. Senza diritto di precedenza. Who has diritto di precedenza here? You, because you're in the bigger, wider, more standard road. Preannuncia un incrocio in cui si ha la precedenza sui veicoli provenienti da sinistra. So, it warns you about a junction in which you have the precedenza. Even for roads, even for cars coming from the left or from the right, in this case from the left, they know you have the precedenza. Let's go to the next one. We have looked at intersezione or incroci. Now I want to look at what is called confluence. If you look at the picture, both from the right and from the left, the way the road enters is like bending. it is angled a little bit differently. Confluenza. Let's consider the first one. So this confluenza is confluenza da destra. Preannuncia un'emissione da destra con corsia di accelerazione. So it tells you that there is an entry into the major road with the corsia di accelerazione from the right hand side. Yes. Preannuncia una confluenza su lato destro. Yes. It announces to you the meeting together of roads on the left hand side. Può trovarsi sulle autostrade. Può trovarsi sulle autostrade. You can find it on the highway. Invita ad usare la massima prudenza. It invites you to use maximum care to avoid accidents. Indica che abbiamo la precedenza sui veicoli che si mettono da destra. We have precedenza on the vehicle that is coming from the right hand side. Yes. So those vehicles coming from that small road have to wait for you. You have the precedenza. After you have crossed, they can enter. In presenza del segnale raffigurato sulla rampa di raccordo è posto il segnale di dare precedenza. Vero. So you see if you see this sign on the highway as you're driving, it means that on the ramps that are entering that highway to join you, they will have the sign of direct precedenza. So the direct precedenza sign is not for you that you're driving. For you that you're driving, you've already seen this one that you have the right of way. For those that are coming into the highway, it is not this sign they will see. What they'll see is the precedenza sign. Okay, this is the statement I was trying to read so that at least you know. Okay, I hope you've seen it. Direct precedenza. So again, this sign is not called direct precedenza. This sign is confluenza da destra. They are just saying here that if you see confluenza da destra on your own lane, it means that the other lane that is coming into your lane will be seeing the other sign of direct precedenza, which is the upside down triangle. The same thing applies for confluenza da sinistra. So the first one was confluenza da destra, now we're in confluenza da sinistra. Preannuncia un'emissione stradale con corsia di accelerazione opposta sulla sinistra. In the first case, it was posta sulla destra. In this case, sinistra, because of the position of the small lane joining. Okay? Vero. Vero. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una confluenza sul lato sinistro della strada. So, yes, the confluence is happening on the left-hand side of the road. Si trova su carreggiate a senso unico di circolazione. Okay. So you will see this sign on a road that just has one way. It is going one way. Okay, that's where you see it. Usually on highways, but it's just a road of one way. If it has 2-3 lanes, all those 2-3 lanes are going in one direction. Okay? Invita ad usare la massima prudenza perché altri veicoli potrebbe immettersi nel flusso della circolazione. Okay? So, trying to find the simple words to explain this one. Okay, so it invites you to be very careful. Okay, pay attention because other vehicles can enter the road that you're using. Okay, you can just jump into the road like that. So you have to be careful so that you help them avoid accidents. Because the aim is not to get accident, the aim is to avoid the accident. So let everything happen safely. Immettersi nel flusso della circolazione means to insert oneself into the flow of the traffic. So it invites you to be careful when cars are trying to fix themselves into the traffic in front of you. È usato su strade con diritto di precedenza. Yes, you see this sign on roads that have that yellow signboard that you have the right of way. Okay? Quindi hai diritto di precedenza. Comporta la presenza del segnale dare precedenza sulla strada di emissione laterale. So if you're seeing this sign on your own lane, on your own road carreggiata, it means that on the other smaller road, from the ramps or corsia di accelerazione, what they will be seeing is dare precedenza or even stop. Okay? That's what they'll be saying. We have looked at these signs, but we need to talk about this one we skipped earlier. I skipped it for a reason because this sign and this one below, they go hand in hand. Okay? Basically, if you see this particular sign, diritto di precedenza nei sensi unici alternati, if it is what you are seeing, the guy opposite you on the other end of the road is seeing this one. This is the one he's seeing, which means dare precedenza nei sensi unici alternati, which means how will I put it? It says here sensi unici. So never think about it as doppio senso. It is senso unico, one way direction. Okay. It's very important. So let's start. Dare precedenza nei sensi unici alternati. What questions would they ask you? Quite a lot. Well, doesn't matter how many they ask you, as you can see. What matters is that you understand what they're asking you. First, impone nelle strettoie di dare precedenza ai veicoli provenienti dal senso opposto. So it imposes on you in the strettoia, which is a narrow path. We discussed it in Segnale di Pericolo. You have to allow them to pass first because you are the red arrow. So there's no need for you to struggle. You wait for them to pass. If the car opposite you passes, then if the road is free, you can now pass your own. But you cannot just force your way through. Preannuncia in presa di lavori di dare precedenza ai veicoli provenienti dal senso opposto. Again, like we read before, even if there is some road work going on there, what this sign is telling you is that there is a car that is possibly on the other side. Allow him to pass first before you go. So you are the one in red. You have to wait for them to finish crossing before you cross. Preannuncia che bisogna dare la precedenza ai veicoli provenienti di fronte. Yes, you have to allow vehicles in front of you to go first before you go. In front of you, I mean, is those opposite you. And of course, if a car is in front of you, allow him to go first before you don't just jump the line. Il segnale raffigurato obbliga a dare precedenza ai veicoli provenienti dal senso opposto. So you're obligated to allow the vehicles coming on the other end of the road to pass first. Ok? Impone di dare la precedenza nei sensi unici alternati. So it imposes on you to give way, allow the cars to cross in these alternate one-way roads. It is called alternate one-way road because at any given time there is only one line of cars you will see there. It's not possible. It's not possible that you have two cars in opposite directions inside this space. No. In una strada a doppio senso precede una strettoia che permette il transito di una sola fila di veicoli. Yes. So if the road where you see this sign, if on a two-way road you see this sign, it means that they are placing it where the road becomes narrow. So a road can be wide, two-way direction, and then at some point it becomes very narrow, and then later it opens up again. That is what we call strettoia. Okay, and in this case, it is saying that it comes before the narrow part, the strettoia, that allows vehicles to only have one line of vehicles there. Preannuncia che la circolazione non può svolgersi contemporaneamente nei due sensi. So you cannot do going and coming on that road at the same time. Only one line of cars. È un segnale di prescrizione. È un segnale di prescrizione. Yes. Può essere ripetuto. Sorry, non ripetuto. Può essere posto in una strada in cui una parte della carreggiata è sbarrata. Yes, it can be placed on a road in which one side of the road is crossed with a bar, which means you cannot use that part of the road. Può essere posto in una strada con strettoie. It can be placed on a road with a narrow path. Yes. Impone di dare la precedenza ai veicoli provenienti dal senso opposto. It means that you have to give the right of way to vehicles coming from the opposite direction. Prescrive di dare la precedenza nei sensi unici alternati. It tells you have to give the right of way on a road like this, sensi unici alternati. Si incontra prima di una strettoia che di norma consente il passaggio di una sola fila di veicoli. So you see it on a road. The position is just before the strettoia that usually or normally allows the passage of one line of cars. In case you see this sign and also semaphore. The semaphore I mean is the green, yellow, and red. Okay, if you see that kind of semaphore along with this sign, please, we have the precedenza. Abbiamo la precedenza. We have the precedenza if the semaphore is green. If the semaphore is green. But if the semaphore is off, spento, we have to give precedenza. If the semaphore is green, we have precedenza. If it is off, switched off, we give precedenza. If also there is agente, dear, agente ci ordina di passare. If the agent orders us to pass, with this sign, we have precedenza. Okay, we have precedenza in this particular case. If a policeman comes and tells us to continue going, we have precedenza. Okay. But if the semaphore is, like I said, off, or if it is red, or if the agente de traffico tells us to stop, then we don't have the right of way. In presenza del segnale raffigurato e del semaforo a 3 luci, dobbiamo dare la precedenza se il semaforo è a luce gialla lampeggiante. Yes. If the yellow light is blinking on the traffic lights, off and on, flashing like that, it means that, like I said before, when it comes to hierarchy of road signs, you need to dare la precedenza in this case because you are the red arrow. So you wait for them to cross before you. Let's look at the final sign for today. Diritto di precedenza. This one says diritto di precedenza nei sensi unici alternati. In presenza del segnale raffigurato, dobbiamo accertarci che i veicoli provenienti dal senso opposto o contrario ci diano la precedenza. Yes, we have to make sure that the vehicles coming from the opposite direction allow us to cross, or that they give us the precedenza. Yes, because we are the white arrow, so we should cross. We have the precedenza, but we have to wait. We have to make sure that the other people in red arrow color have acknowledged that they allow us to pass. We can't force our way through. Possiamo percorrere la strettoia dopo esserci assicurati di aver ottenuto la precedenza. So we can only cross if we are sure that we have obtained precedenza from them. Dobbiamo procedere con cautela anche se abbiamo la precedenza. Yes, even though we have the precedenza, we have to proceed with caution. Si può percorrere la strettoia accertandosi di aver avuto la precedenza dai veicoli provenienti di fronte. So again, accertandosi means you have to ascertain, okay? Assure yourself that yes, you have obtained the precedenza from the vehicles coming from in front of you, so you can go. Okay? This is the statement I just read now. Let's read this one. In presenza del segnale raffigurato e del semaforo a 3 luci, abbiamo la precedenza se il semaforo è a luce verde. So if the semaphore is red light, green light, luce verde, green light, we have the precedenza, we can go. Okay? If the semaphore is spento, se il semaforo è spento, we have the right of way because we are the white arrow. Remember the picture, we are the white arrow. If the agente tells us to pass, agente ci ordina di passare, abbiamo la precedenza, vero? Okay, we have the right of way. Yes. If the agente orders us to stop, dobbiamo dare la precedenza. It's true. Dobbiamo dare la precedenza. Yes. If the agente tells us to stop, which means we have to abandon that our right of way to the other guy to cross first. And then finally, in presenza del segnale raffigurato e del semaforo a 3 luci, abbiamo la precedenza se il semaforo è a luce gialla lampeggiante. Luce gialla lampeggiante. Yellow blinking light. In such a case, we have the precedenza, and that's what's written here. Abbiamo la precedenza. Okay? So use what I have just said here to practice each of these signs in the workbook. You have the workbook already. Practice it. Okay? Tell your friends to join our class because they'll be followed up properly. Thank you very much for your attention. The next topic will be segnali di indicazione. So stay tuned for the next video.